Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy Crypto World podcast, a podcast brought to you by your two crazy guys. One a baby boomer, another a Gen X. Different generations, yet both crazy enough about crypto. We want to bring you your daily crazy crypto update, as well as all the news of the crypto markets for the day. So sit back and relax with Stacey and Chris. The challenge for you is to work out who is the boomer and who is the X. Good morning, Stacey.
Hey, good morning, mate. How are you?
Good. I changed it up a little bit. Don't know if it works yet. We'll just didn't
Look, as I said, it's a constant process of improvement, right?
I know. Ladies and gentlemen, what Stacey means by that is it's a constant process of, mate, I think we need to change. And when I say, but, okay.
Some people like to avoid change.
Yes.
I, on the other hand, really like to embrace change.
I would never have figured that. I couldn't have figured it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think a minor challenge is which one of us likes change and which one of us doesn't like change. All right, so how are the markets going today, buddy?
Well, look, that's a very good question, Mr. Deal.
That's why I asked it, because I'm clever.
You are so clever. I should probably share it with you, I suppose, eh?
Well, it would be good because people want to know.
We can do that. Share. All right.
There you go.
So, look, it's really strange, actually. It sort of went up and down overnight, but we're pretty much where we were yesterday. So, from Bitcoin perspective, we're
however,
yeah,
the Rabbitohs supporters, the South Sydney supporters, will be happy because there is more green, or pretty much a breakup of green and red now. So it does look like their jersey,
rather
than just all red yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's right. Although we discovered yesterday, sometimes those colours don't actually accurately reflect what's going on. So we shall have a look. Top 10, let's have a look. Bitcoin, 10,156 US dollars, down 0.2. Ethereum sitting at 191 and it's up 3%. And XRP is sitting at 27 cents, up 1 point. Oh, it was 1.8, just dropped to 1.7. Bitcoin Cash 311, up 3.3%. Litecoin is sitting at 73. It's dropped just a 0.4%. Binance Coins sitting just a phrase under $27 and it's down just 0.2. EOS sitting at 366 and up almost 4%. We'll jump over Tether and then we've got Bitcoin SV at 135, up 1.2. And Cardano still sitting, holding on to the top 10 or the 10th position. Still just a phrase under 5 cents. Hasn't been able to crack that, even though it's up 4.7%. So it's a little bit of up and down, but mostly up, I've got to say. When you look across that board, the ones that are down are only down just a phrase for the day. Whereas across the top 10, we've got some there that are up almost 5%, like Cardano. And EOS is up 4, and Bitcoin Cash up 3.3, and Ethereum up 3. So we've got, I think the total market cap should be up a phrase, 268. So we're up 1.4% as a total.
It was in the 250s yesterday, so that's not bad.
Yeah, look, it definitely had a drop, and then it sort of climbed its way back. If we have a look at the 1 hour chart, we can see here, looking back over the 24 hours, we did drop last night quite a bit. We had a bit of a drop there, and it slowly sort of crawled its way back to this morning. So, surprisingly, crypto goes up and crypto goes down. Just for something different, right?
No, who would have figured that this market's volatile? You know?
Yeah, look, it's not a space to be if you're not one that can stomach volatility.
I think I'd rather go forward driving with a truckload full of nitroglycerin at times. It's at least when that goes bang, you gotta go, oh damn.
Well, look, and this is the thing with the crypto market, right? So if you're not one that can control those emotions with your investments. It's probably not a place to be to
I think it's a set and
trade.
forget.
It is. I was just about to say that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a long-term play, and it's you should just, as they say, hodl. You just buy what you believe is going to hold or will be that will increase in value over the long term. And don't look at the charts, just let it go.
Yeah, if you want to day trade, ladies and gentlemen, if people want to day trade, I mean, there's some bloody good money. You can see there, it's some of those are up 5% a day, which if you've got enough money that you can play with, that's not a bad return for your day. But you got
if you know what you're doing.
All the time.
Yeah, look, and there's even very experienced traders that have been burnt big time in this game. But but look, if you just bought and hodled, as we just said, like if you looked at it from a long term, so this is the weekly chart, you can see, look, that's just a nice steady incline, right? So if you looked at it from a much longer perspective, just say once a month, checked in and sort of see where the investment's going, you'd have a much easier ride. Easier ride.
You'd be okay.
Yeah. So all right, so let's have a look at some crazy news. This is in line, actually, is sort of in line with what you were talking about before, Mr. Deal.
Yeah.
So, so there's a man who predicted the collapse in bond yields reveals what happens next, and there's a lot more to come. So, won't go into a lot of the technicals around this because, quite frankly, economics puts a lot of people to sleep. But
I can't understand that.
So, but look, there's just as we've spoken about in previous episodes, there's so much all these countries' bonds that are going out on negative yields, which just makes no sense, right? It's like, why would you invest in something that's going to lose money? I don't understand.
Absolutely. The gist of this whole story, and I don't know if Stacey was going to get into any of the detail of it, is that the US 10-year bonds at the moment have a less of a return than the US 2-year bonds. So someone who's invested their money 10 years ago and they're going, yay, 10-year investment will make some dollars. People only put in 2 years ago saying, hey, suck it, sucker, because the 2-year ones are giving them a better return. Now, the economists out there, the people who actually don't go to sleep when they're talking the numbers, they come up with an analysis. And yes, everything with statistics can be turned around. We understand that. But each time this happens, and the last time it happened was 1978. So it's a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen, that the shorter term bonds outperformed the 10-year bond. But the last time that it happened, and the time before that it happened, and so forth, a recession has followed on average 22 months later. So if they're right, you got 22 months to get your shit together.
Well, that's based on an average, right? So
that's right.
The reality is some of the other economists that are talking about this at the moment are also suggesting that it could quite easily happen much earlier for a number of reasons, and a lot of that has to do with the current economic climate, a lot of the geopolitical issues that are going on, and the amount of debt that we're in, and so it's a bit of a perfect storm, right? So while the averages say it could take 22 months, it could also happen like very soon. So don't get comfortable and don't think you've got plenty of time, because you may not, right? And part of the other reason, I thought this was an interesting article. For those in Australia, a lot of people might have heard of Michael Yardney. He's a well-respected property investor. But he released an article about this HILDA report, which is what they call Australia's Household Income Labour Dynamics Survey, which is HILDA's much easier to say, right? But basically the upshot of this was that, and this graph shows it pretty well, is that over the last 10 years, if everyone's sort of feeling like they're not really getting anywhere, well, there's a very good reason for that. We're not. So the median disposable household has not improved in 10 years, right? Yeah. So this I think is very telling, and I think you talk to the average person, and most people are feeling this, right? It's like, where's the money going, right? And even if they feel like they're earning more over the last 10 years, though wages have been pretty stagnant for the last 10 years, but even for those who are earning a bit more, I go, well, we're earning more, but where's the money going, right? Well, that's because their cost of living's going up.
Well, yeah, that's right. Because, like as it says there underneath that graph, the average household annual real disposable income has climbed 3,156, but the median household income has fallen $542 over that 10 years.
Yeah,
When you take into consideration some of the things that were in the top of that article, doctor visits have gone up roughly 20%. Childcare has gone up 28% on average.
yeah.
So your income has stayed the same, but all of these costs have
Costs are
gone
going
up
up. And
massively. And
absolutely.
I mean, a 28% rise in childcare is pretty significant,
yeah.
especially in a time that within our world where most families have both parents working.
Absolutely. And look,
Mm.
the interesting thing, and I might try and dig it up, but I was reading an article the other day about how they're telling us CPI is still quite low, but the reality is when you look at CPI figures, it takes into account a lot of non-essential goods, right? And so the problem is that when we look at what the real world cost to the everyday person is, we have to really take into account the essential costs, right? Because, and like you said, it's the things like the childcare, the doctors, and the groceries. They're the things that are really going up in value, but they tell us our growth in costs are very low. But that's only because they take into account things like brand new vehicles and computers and technology, which, for most people are non-essential goods. And if you can do without them, you do. But the real cost and the real burden that's hitting people is the essential goods that we have to buy. We can't live without, and they're the things that are really going up.
Some of these people like the price of petrol. I'm not quite sure what it was 10 years ago, but it wasn't $1.50 a litre. It was $1.10, and roughly. So if
don't get me started on fuel.
Yeah, but it's gone up almost 50%. Right now, if you think back to
but check the barrel prices.
Yeah, if you think back to the time when they were saying that roughly fuel goes up a cent for every dollar that the price of crude goes up in US dollars, right? That was what they sold us on. And so everyone went, oh, okay, so crude was $100. Then it suddenly dropped back down to like $80, but the price still went up. Oh, yeah, because transport costs have gone up because we have to pay for fuel. Seriously? So all your costs have gone up and yet your money hasn't.
No, that's right.
Not in real terms. And that's where the hurt comes. And that's why people are feeling like they're not getting anywhere.
That's right. And that graph shows that really well.
Most people feel it. The only people that don't feel it are those that don't have a mortgage and don't have any debts.
Yep.
Right? Because they go, wow, well, yeah, money doesn't go as far, but we're okay. But for those working families where mum and dad both have to go to work to make ends meet, that's why you're struggling, folks.
So don't feel bad. It's
no,
it's not just
real.
you. It's not just you. So, all right. Good old China in the news today. So China may release a Libra competitor before Facebook launches.
Now, as we all know, Libra is sort of struggling a little bit with the regulations and trying to convince the governments that it's a really viable option and that they can meet all of the stuff. Now, China may release a Libra competitor before Facebook launches it because does anyone think China's going to worry about what the SEC says?
Or any regulator for that matter.
Or any regulator outside of China says.
Yeah,
right?
No.
So if they want to release their central bank digital currency, which they're calling the CBDC, go figure. Yeah, they're going to do it. It'll be out there.
Oh, look, absolutely they are. And look, and they've been in talks. Well, supposedly, from the articles I've read, they've been in talks with Russia, Venezuela, Brazil, Turkey, around how to.
Finance is doing it too.
Yeah, well, they've been in talks with these countries on how to buy and sell natural resources and in particular fuel, which we've just been talking about, or oil, without having to use the US dollar. And this is a big one because it's often referred to as the petrodollar because back in the day, I think it was back in the 70s, I can't remember exactly, but actually I think it was when Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard, that they did a deal with Saudi Arabia and basically said, you sell any oil, if you run it through the US dollars, we'll offer you protection, basically, is the nut. So since then, anyone who's buying oil has to do it through the US dollar.
Yeah.
So China, Russia, and Venezuela, all these guys are obviously not liking that. So they've been looking at cryptos as a way to get around that.
So if you sort of extrapolate that out just a little bit, so if everything has to run through the US dollar, and all these organizations are trying to launch something that says you no longer have to use the US dollar.
Yep.
I think the US lawmakers and SEC and all of those people would be saying that's a great idea. The US people saying that's a great idea. I think maybe they'd have some arguments against it.
Do you think?
I mean, really?
Do you think?
So can you imagine? I mean, it seems totally fair. Let's remove the US dollar from the faction. They've got less to worry about. Guys, just say yes.
Yes, but as they have actually stated in the was in the Senate or in their in Congress, where it was in a hearing. What was the hearing? I think it was actually a hearing around cryptocurrencies. Was it Sherman? Oh, I can't remember. He actually came out and said we've got to stop cryptocurrencies because it reduces the power that we can wield across the world with our US dollar. I mean, they've actually come out and admitted that they use it as a weapon, right? So yeah, absolutely, they use the dollar in a lot of different ways. So it's definitely it's going to be a concern to see what happens, and it could drastically impact the US dollar. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. All right.
Bitcoin dominance dropped down a little bit overnight, down to 67-point-something%. So it dropped below 68.
It did, but here's interesting research that actually says that regardless of what the charts are telling us, it reckons that Bitcoin dominance is actually more like 90%.
You know what? I'd actually agree with that. And one of the reasons I'd agree with it is if you go into a lot of the exchanges, even if you bought the altcoins, you have a look at your value. It's always given to you in Bitcoin.
Yep. Look, and it's been the dominant coin for exchange, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yep. So
always given to you in Bitcoin.
Yeah. Look, and this is part of their argument of this article is that. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, rest in peace altcoins. I don't think all the altcoins are dead. I think the top ones are going to always be there because they've got a solid foundation. But Bitcoin is always going to be the papa.
Look, and absolutely, I there's nothing that I am seeing anytime soon that's going to displace Bitcoin from the number one position. There's just not. It has too big a following. It's proven its stability, its security. You know, it's ticked all the boxes. It's where the big money's going to go. Right? They're not going to go into these alts. I think there will absolutely be some really good alts that'll come through. But yeah, 98% of them are just going to go by the wayside, no doubt about it. So he's actually talking about the reason why he believes that Bitcoin's dominance is more like 90 is because around liquidity, which is basically what we've been talking about. And he's got a good point in terms of, because when you talk about market cap, all it does is it looks at the available coins that are in the market and the last price that the coin was sold for. Right, you multiply that out, and there's your market cap, right? So it's not really a true value of the money that's actually gone into it. And as he said, one might be able to sell one token for $3, but what happens if you want to sell 1 million of them? And without accounting for liquidity, market capitalization becomes a meaningless measure, and that's a fair point. So so I thought that was interesting perspective. Yeah, this one made me laugh. So, the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, has arrested power plant operators for mining cryptocurrency in the this is a Yuzhno-Kransky nuclear power plant. I'm sure I pronounced that perfectly. So I suppose, look, these guys, you got to give these guys credit. You know, you need a bit of power to run crypto mining. So we're better to get it directly from the nuclear power plant. Up there for thinking, guys.
It might run a computer or two.
Well, it's. I thought that was brilliant. Good on you guys.
It is.
It's just a shame they got caught.
Yeah, I know. But I wonder how long it took them to catch him.
Yeah, that's right. Don't know. So, and just to show the news is getting, the Bitcoin news is definitely spreading. Even now in the US presidential race, Bitcoin's becoming a bit of a topic. And there's a couple, Andrew Yang in particular, he's been very vocal about his support for cryptocurrencies. But it's becoming a bit of a hot debate, which is great because it's giving the industry a platform that it really didn't have before. So
cryptos aren't going away. How many times have we got to say this?
Yeah, no, it's just getting bigger and bigger, and it's definitely the future. There's no doubt about it. So, and we say that, but then you get people like Peter Schiff that's telling Tom Lee that Bitcoin will never hit 50,000. Right? Yeah. But they said that when Bitcoin was only pennies in the dollar. Like they said, it would never get above $100, and then they said it would never get above $1,000, and then they said it would never be above 10,000, and it's already hit 20. And so anyway, but again, Peter Schiff, and look, I got to give Peter Schiff some credit because I agree with a lot of stuff he talks about. But the problem is he's a gold bug, right? And his business is selling gold. So gold is where it's at for him, and gold is his belief mechanism. And all good for him. I believe in gold too. I own gold. I think everyone should have gold, especially in economic the turmoil that's happening around the world. It's definitely seen as a safe haven asset. There's no doubt about that. So I agree with him in that space, but for some reason he just doesn't get Bitcoin or cryptos. So anyway, interesting stuff. All right, well
that's probably about it for today, isn't it?
And you've got a little boy to go sort out. So
I do, ladies and gentlemen. I have a little man who's gotten up early because his mummy's had to go to work, and so I need to go and sort him out for school. So on that note, thank you once more for joining us. This has been Two Crazy Guys in One Crazy Crypto World, one baby boomer and one Gen X. Don't forget to try and figure out which one is which. Don't take any notice of the colour of the hair.
And I'm the poppy.
He's the poppy. There you go. You might even have a hint there. So this podcast has been brought to you by your Two Crazy Guys in this One Crazy Crypto World. And don't forget, as always, you can join us over there on Patreon, where if you become a subscriber, you will get one of these silver or gold coins. They are only tokens, but they're great bling. As I always tell you, you want the bling, get the bling. Ladies and gentlemen, get the bling. All right.
The Bitcoin bling.
We're going to be back later this morning doing an interview with... Who? I forgot his name.
Boomer Fork. So he's the owner of Boomer Capital. And
what's his first name?
Boomer. Yep. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boomer Fork.
Yeah. Boomer Fork is his name. And look, very very clever cookie. And he has a company that we're going to talk to him about that you might be interested in, and he provides investment services and trading signals. So we're going to have a chat to him about his business, where he's come from, and the services that they offer. And it should be a very interesting. And I like in particular, Boomer's quite. I think he's different to a lot of the others because this man travels and he gets in front of people and he talks direct, face to face with people. He gets a lot of inside goss that a lot of people don't get access to. So,
so
it should be a very interesting interview next week.
Join us over there on Patreon. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see you on Monday morning. Cheers.
Crazy old day, folks. See you later.